This chart is about research and development investment by different countries. But what does it actually show? Can anyone tell me what the information is it's trying to convey? Can someone tell me the difference in spending between China and Kenya? Can anyone even find Kenya on the screen? Because I can't either. And I can't interpret this information, and that's a problem, because I'm a data professional. I should know what this is trying to tell me. There are many bad visualizations out there in the world, in businesses, in journals, in newspapers, and on websites. And that's why my friend and co-author, Andy Kriebel, and I have started Makeover Monday. Initially, Andy kicked off the project just by himself to improve his data visualization skills and to regularly practice working with data. And for the last 2 years and a bit, we've been running it together. We give participants a visualization to make over and give them the relevant data so they can create a better visualization on the same topic. And here is an example what someone did with the data set about R&D spending. So Louisa Betts from the Makeover Monday community created this simple and clean chart that shows the top 10 countries in descending order based on their spending. Remember the circles in the original that were dotted all around the outside? This rainbow of color, just a quick reminder. Now we can compare the countries in this top 10 list. Our brain can make easy comparisons when we use something like a bar chart, because the length is meaningful, especially when we start everything at 0. So we can compare which country has twice the spending or 3 times the spending of another one. We also see here a trend over time. We have a nice little line chart with a circle at the end. And the color of the circle is meaningful as well. If the circle is blue, it means the spending went up between 2011 and 2016. Whereas if it's red, the spending went down. So color also has meaning and is used effectively in this visualization. The benefit of this makeover exercise is that the entire community gets to learn at the same time. They get to learn different techniques and best practices, but they also get to be inspired by each other, ask questions freely and frequently. And we use Twitter as a platform to make sure that everyone can participate quite easily. People don't just share their work there, but they also have the chance to be seen by others and have their work noticed by others in the wider data analytics community, because there are people watching. It's a weekly process that doesn't really stop either. It happens every week, the entire year, even at Christmas. We have made it our mission to improve the way we visualize and analyze data 1 chart at a time, and also 1 week at a time. And over the last few years, an amazing community has developed around this project. We have had over 4,500 individual unique participants joining us, and between 100 and 200 people participate every week. Those people have created over 11,000 data visualizations, and that's a lot of makeovers. That also means that Andy and I have seen a lot of charts in that time. We run this project next to our day job, and we really love it. It's really fulfilling to see what people create and to give back to a community that has helped us build our careers in analytics and visualization. And while most things happen online, all the interactions on Twitter, we have set up different events along the way, 25 in fact, in different cities across Europe, the US, and Australia. And we had participant numbers ranging from 7 to 700 per live event. But we still didn't quite understand what the real impact was of Makeover Monday until someone sent us a message and said, "Hey guys, thanks to Makeover Monday, I found a new job." And we said, hold on a minute, how did you go from visualizing some random data about turkey vulture migration in the Americas to actually finding a new job? And people told us that they built a portfolio. They participated week in, week out. And at the end of a year, they had 52 visualizations in their portfolio. So when they applied for new analyst roles, data visualization expert roles, or as reporting analysts, they showed their portfolio and said, this is what I can do. This is how I work with data. This is my storytelling. This is how I analyze, and this is how I visualize. And the employers really liked it. So here are some of them. Makeover Monday has become a global community of data and analytics professionals who contribute through their participation and their skills. And they share with others their ideas, their advice, and their feedback to help others learn and grow as well. There's one large telecommunications company here in the US, and they have 30,000 people accessing data analysis and visualization outputs through their jobs. And they are supplied by 3,000 analysts that use a tool called Tableau, which I'm sure many of you have heard of. And there is actually a core community of about 100 active people. And those people have different ways to engage. So they can use a 5-week virtual workshop during which they learn technical skills. But they also have weekly Tableau doctor sessions to fix any technical issues they might have. They can use Slack channels to communicate. And they have monthly virtual user groups to meet other like-minded people. The goal at this organization is to raise the tide for all of those 3,000 analysts across the board. Because if they can lift up the capabilities of those people by 5 to 10%, the entire company makes massive moves forward. So why should we establish analytics communities in our organizations? Well, the first point is that many data analysts, especially in large enterprises, are distributed geographically, and they don't necessarily know about the work they are doing. They don't know what the impact is that the other people are having, and they don't necessarily know what data others are working with. Maybe they're even trying to solve the same problem. So bringing them together gives them a chance to be part of a like-minded group. At one large Australian bank that I've spoken to, those data analysts have the opportunity to participate in Makeover Monday during their normal workday. So if they want to, they can come together in a meeting room on a Monday for 60 to 90 minutes, tackle this data set, and create their visualizations. And at the end of the session, they all present the work they've created. They critique each other, they give feedback, and they figure out what would work best. And if there's people that participate but that aren't in the same location, they join via video conferencing. Those internal analytics communities are a great opportunity for fostering deep technical skills. Today, there is so much pressure to keep learning and innovating and to keep up our skills. And when I just think of all those buzzwords like big data, visual analytics, R, Python, and data artistry, and all of that, I think, oh, how am I going to just stay on top of the game and stay relevant? So if I'm surrounded by a community of others that are also learning the same thing, we can really share the load, and we don't have to cover everything as individuals. And teaching each other is actually a great way to learn. Because first, when it comes to a new concept, we need to understand it, but then we need to also comprehend it at a level that allows us to communicate it back to others. And one organization that has really enthusiastically embraced this approach is the Data School. The Data School is based in London and trains data analysts. And they go through a 4-month deep technical program where they spend the entire time, so full time for 4 months, learning technical skills, particularly around Tableau and Alteryx. And then they go out on client placements to apply their knowledge. And in those 4 months, they regularly have to teach each other. But there is a catch, because typically they only find out 1 day before, or maybe 2 days before if people are feeling generous. And the topic they have to teach on is the one they struggle with the most. So it's pretty scary. But what they've found is that once people go through this process of really immersing themselves in that topic, learning it, and then teaching it back to their peers, they actually turn out to become experts in that topic. And they also get a real sense of achievement by teaching others about the stuff they struggled with previously. Communities need champions, people that are really engaged, that are involved, and that drive initiatives forward. And we need to give those people a chance to shine, to really stand out, and to be noticed. And when they engage in analytical challenges for the organization, but also get to help others along the way, it really drives them forward. And most people don't want to stick to the confines of their job description. They want to do more. There's one American professional services company specializing in real estate that has made analytics the focus of their business. They make sure that analytical and data visualization skills are really high in their analysts. And what they've developed is a very customized, but also structured professional development program for their analysts to gain all the technical skills they need. And in the process, they actually ended up creating local and global communities around data. Their internal champions are actively identified, and the contributions they make are highlighted through internal communications. And the benefits they've found is that they have a higher standard of work, they have new ideas coming out of their analyst communities, and also people just taking more pride in the achievements they've made. So how do we actually go about it? Makeover Monday accidentally became a community project. Andy and I both, every week, create a makeover, and we also write a blog post about it. And that practice creates a continuity and a regular cadence for the rest of the community to follow along. And we found that people move into the project, they start, they're really enthusiastic, but at some point, some people leave. And at first, we took that a bit personally, but then we got over it and we realized our mission is to help people improve their skills, we want to make sure that there's better visualizations out there, and we want to help people build in professional networks. So we stopped getting so hung up over it and just accepting this inflow and outflow of people. And I want to encourage you to get started with an internal analytics community in your organization. So let me share a little bit of what we did and the mistakes we made. When I first joined Andy in this Makeover Monday project, I was determined to give everyone feedback, to respond to every tweet. And after 2 weeks, I was exhausted. Because every time there was a tweet that I responded to, there were 3 new tweets after my response, and I just couldn't keep up. So we realized we need a different approach. And we started a webinar series called Makeover Monday Viz Review. And since July 2017, we have run a weekly webinar that's about 60 minutes in length where we give people feedback. It's free, and they opt in with a specific hashtag to indicate that they want feedback during the webinar. And this has been the most beneficial addition to the project, because rather than condensing our feedback into 280-character tweets, we can actually use our voice, we can use the pointer on the screen, sharing the screen, using humor, using an intonation in what we say to get our message across. And it's been so much better. I can also talk a lot faster and get much more done in 60 minutes than I could write. And the outcome has really been, mind-blowing, because people, after the webinar, iterate on their work. So they take our feedback, they implement it, and they themselves see how much better their visualizations are, mainly if they just keep it simple and tone down the colors a bit. So our feedback might be a bit repetitive, but it is still quite effective. It's also important to give people some time and space to actually do this work. For us, the Makeover Monday project, the setup is really quite simple on the surface. It's a weekly data visualization challenge, and the necessary information is always provided in the same format and by the same people. And this helps to really make it stick and to give people a chance to come back week in, week out. These analytics communities thrive on the idea of sharing knowledge and skills, but also the lessons learned. And the data school in London that you heard about a couple of minutes ago, they run regular client projects as part of their training. And every Friday, the entire group comes together, the trainees, the client, but also other colleagues that happen to be in the office. And the results from the week's project are presented, and people give feedback, they ask questions, and the entire group gets to learn so much more than the individuals could by themselves. So my recommendation is to start an analytics community in your organization. And it doesn't matter whether it's 3 people, 30, or 300, because it will grow, it will take on its own dynamics, and it will develop over time with those champions you put in place. For us, Makeover Monday was initially just a fun learning appointment for ourselves every week, and that we shared with our social network via Twitter. But then it grew, and so did we. New ideas came in, some failures and some lessons learned, and they helped us shape Makeover Monday into this global social data project that it is today. It's a project that has changed careers, it has connected people, and has given them a way to connect with like-minded people who share their passion for data. And my last piece of advice is to find a partner in crime, someone who shares your passion, but also shares the workload, who embraces your ideas, but also challenges you back. And for Andy and I, a big milestone was writing our first book. And we collected the stories and data visualizations from the community. And with over 300 visualizations, dashboards, and infographics, this book really is the story of Makeover Monday. So whether it's a book, a new product, an improved process, or any other output, I'd love to see where building a community takes you. Thank you.